Welcome aboard the National Football Show. It's your boy Dan Sileo. Man, I just love the time of the year we are in right now. Okay, I really do. The NFL is the greatest water cooler league in all of professional sports. It is. You know, they play the games Thursday, which is tonight, by the way, Sunday and Monday, and the rest of the days is all water cooler stuff. Guys barking. Hey, Krause Jr., I'm with you now, man. Aaron Rodgers crying again. Dude, I am so sick of this guy now. Stop your crying, guy. I don't want to hear another word from you. Please. I'm absolutely sick of it. Yeah, you know, and I'll say this to you, man. Is it really the fact that he's all in? You think he's really all in this year when he wasn't all in the offseason? Man, guys just moaning and belly aching and crying, and you would think he'd become a little bit more cognizant of the fact that he's got 52 other dudes in that locker room that he's got to try to carry to a championship. But no, that's today's athlete, I guess. It's about views, clicks, and whatever. It's not really about winning any longer, is it? It's about me and what I can get out of my brand instead of winning. It's amazing, man. G-Day to you too, Franklin. Joey B., welcome aboard. And now, as all of you know, we've kind of changed the format of the show a little bit. All you fabulous folks that jump aboard with us each and every day here, 4 to 6 Eastern time here on the National Football Show, you dudes go right to the top. Big Sills puts down a bunch of stuff. We talk about it, and then we hit on it, and then we move from there. By the way, tonight, Giants and Washington really has some significance on the Eagles, and I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to show you something here, too. Okay, so tonight's game, the Giants are going into this game as a mass unit. A lot of guys are banged up in this game. Guys in the offensive line, Saquon Barkley is going to go tonight for the Giants. The quarterback situation, Tyler Heineke, I guess. I call him Mr. Heineken. All right? Philip, appreciate you coming aboard. Thank you, brother. So Heineke is now stepping in for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Here, guys, let's do this. Is this not setting up for a great start to the season for the Eagles? The Washington team has lost their quarterback. The Giants are a mass unit. And now we hear DeMarcus Lawrence is banged up and he's out with a foot injury 6 to 8 weeks. If the Eagles do not take advantage of this situation here, and these, next 4 weeks, first quarter poll of the season, then guess what? You won't make the playoffs. You've got a prime opportunity to put yourself front and center when it comes to the NFC East. Like I said, there is not a football team in the East that's not coming into the second week a little bit panicked. Look at what the Cowboys have to do. The Cowboys now have to try to drag down Justin Herbert without their best pass rusher, Randy Gregory. You're gonna rely on that pothead to run down Justin Herbert? Congratulations to you, but he ain't the guy. Aldon Smith actually was the best guy on that football team when it came to pass rushing last year. It wasn't Randy Gregory, even though he thinks he was. You're going to rely on a pothead and think you're going to get to the quarterback. And by the way, the offensive line for the Chargers in week 1, I thought they had a pretty good week against that Washington front. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Washington's got a pretty good front seven, right? That's one of the things we talked about, why I thought that they would be a favorite going into the first week and really into the first part of the season. When it came to the NFC, I thought for sure Washington had the better roster. All right. All that being said, am I right when I say that? So how huge is this game for the Eagles then versus the 49ers as the 49ers go into Lincoln Financial? Look, these first 3 games, you get 3-0, you could theoretically, have Washington. I think Washington wins the game tonight. I'll talk a little more about tonight's game. And it impacts the NFC East. Because I'll tell you something. If Washington can survive all the way up until the halfway mark of the season, I'll tell you, they're still going to be the favorites in my book to win the East. I think Washington has a better roster than Philadelphia does. As of today, September 16th, I think they have a better roster. That doesn't mean at the end of the year we won't see a better team in Philly. Okay? Joey B says Washington football team 27, Giants 17. Franklin says Eagles could be 3-0 going into week 4 of 2 games on the rest of the division. That would be enormous for Jalen Hurts. It would be completely enormous for him. You imagine that you're developing a young quarterback, and this quarterback is developing in front of your eyes. And it's because Nick Sirianni's really giving him well-designed plays, giving him an opportunity at truly being a leader. And most notably, you know what's behind him? There's no pressure of anything behind Jalen Hurts. How about this? We've kind of broached around this type of topic, but let me throw it out there. If Jalen goes like this, and he goes 3-0, and he beats the Cowboys, Niners, and Atlanta, is that enough for you to say this? The Eagles don't need a quarterback. Hey, I'll bury the lead with you guys. That's not enough for me. That's not enough for me. So I'll start it out by just doing that. That would clearly not be enough for me. And any single time I can upgrade my coach, my quarterback, or my GM, I would completely do it. Matt Hatter says 12-12. Yeah, the game. Yeah, both these teams. I actually don't think that about Ron Rivera's Washington team. I don't. Joey B says 2 bad teams. You think Washington? I thought Washington, without their quarterback, I actually thought Washington played the Chargers. I thought they played them very well. Chargers have a really good roster. I'll tell you this. Washington played a tougher team in week 1 than what the Eagles did. Completely played a tougher team. For that matter, every other team in the NFC East played a tougher game than the Eagles did. Cowboys played the defending champs. Washington played the Chargers. The Giants had a very good football team go into the Meadowlands with Denver. Sean says, you're way wrong on Washington having a better roster. Who is their O-line? Eagles running backs, tight ends. I don't believe the Eagle running backs are all that hot. I do not believe that. And the Eagle quarterback is better? Really? After week 1? So you're sold on him then, right, Sean? There's no way you're in the same room with them defensively. And I actually think Washington. And when I say that, wait a minute here. Okay, your tight ends are better. You really think your wide receiving core is better? You played Atlanta. Let's not get nuts here. He has to go 4-0, Nigel says. Nigel, who's the 4th game? Is that Kansas City? What's the 4th game of the season for the Eagles? I forget what the 4th game is. You beat Kansas City. We're having a whole different conversation here. He's better than Heineke? He absolutely is. Is he? I thought Tyler Heineke played pretty well. Didn't you think Tyler Heineke played pretty well against the Buccaneers in last year's wild card game? I thought he played pretty well. Actually, he came in, especially in the second half. I didn't think he was all that bad. Hey, and if you think about it, I thought he played right in the same conversation. I thought he was better than Breeze. I also happen to think that he was right there. Rodgers played a really good game, but not a great game. I thought Heineke played a really good game for Washington in that wild card game last year. I didn't think he totally blew last year. I thought he actually, and that's why they gave him a contract, if I'm not mistaken, too. They gave him an opportunity to see if he could be the starting quarterback, and now he's getting his chance. You know, every time you get an opportunity due to injury, you can You can go down the history of the league. Tom Brady got his opportunity to play in the NFL because of injury. Sean says, what did he do with Arizona last year with a disseminated offensive line? Absolutely. Sean, I'm not saying, hey, but here, I'll say this to you. Well, I'd like to see him with about 500 reps. See, that's what you got to look at with a quarterback. This is why I say this to you guys about Daniel Jones tonight. Okay, how many more starts do you need to see on Daniel Jones? Right? How many more starts do we need to see? I mean, if we go into like November, I mean, this guy's going to have like almost 30 starts. I mean, when do you need to do this? I don't know. Right? I don't know. You know, I mean, right? Kent says 49ers, Cowboys, Chiefs, Jags, next 4 games. Great. Wow. So your next break is the Jaguars. So here's who the Eagles have. Niners, Cowboys, Chiefs. Whew. I'll make a point to you here, okay? With those games set up, if the Eagles have one loss, you got your quarterback. If that guy's 4-1, because you think they win up, they're not winning all them games. Hell, those next 4 games, I think if you came out of those games 2-2, you'd be good. I really, those are, except for the Jaguars, potential playoff teams. The Niners are a potential playoff team. And Jimmy G, I'll tell you something. Mad Hatter, 4-0 run. Woo! Ted says after Monday night, we'll be 3-0. Whew, man. Let me just, again, that's going to be a hell of a game. The 49ers and the Eagles. I mean it. Both these football teams know how important this game is out of division. The division game with the Cowboys the next week matters. I've always said a game and a half. I have always said that. It's a game and a half. Hey, DeMarcus Lawrence being out. The quarterback in Washington being out. The Giants, a mash unit. If you're Eagles and you're the Eagle fan base and you're everyone, you've got to look at this moment here and say, we've got to take full advantage of this. Eagles on underdog at home never bodes well. Ted, so are the Niners favored? I don't know. I haven't looked at the number yet because I usually look at the number like on Friday when we take a look at some of these games. So is San Francisco favored going into this game? Sean says if Melodic can hold up against Boza, we win the ball game. Hey, man, 49ers have a bunch of pass rushers on that defense, and their 2 interior defensive tackles. Ted, 3.5 Niners are. So they're probably still sitting here like this, right? They're probably still sitting here like this, Vegas. Okay, that was a really nice opening game and a great start. Remember what I said to you guys yesterday? By the way, real quick, our friend Jason Cole, Pro Football Hall of Fame insider and voter, will be with us at the bottom of the hour. We'll get his perspective on what he sees with this Eagle team. And we'll get his Fansided. He's from fansided.com too, by the way, but he also writes, and he has a great book that he did on John Elway. I got it here. I pimp it all the time for him. And he is a NFL Hall of Fame voter. Very seldom do we get anybody on the program that if he's a writer, you know, unless I know like Josh Tolentino, who's a friend of mine, you know, we'll put people like that on, but you have to be a Hall of Fame voter to come on our program. So, so I appreciate it that everybody sees this as an opportunity this weekend versus the 49ers. Gotta be, man. This has got to be a moment that if you're Sirianni, man, we get out of the gate here well. Okay? This is going to be something for us to sit here. This game tonight is significant to you guys, and here's why. By the way, we're going to look at some of the other games around the league as well. Robert says Hurts generated the lowest negatively grade throw rate overall of week 1, which was a metric he ranked 33rd last year. Robert, I think it's because of the play calling and the design of the plays. Robert, I think everything that was constructed for him and everything that was put in front of him game plan-wise against Atlanta, I think was just brilliantly designed by Nick Sirianni and the offensive coaches. I've said that. Oh, Ted, the link's going to be off the charts. If your dumbass mayor can just stay out of the way and not put up stupid mask rules or whatever, where you guys have to be social. I just want to see great fans there at the link this weekend. I don't want to see any of that crap. I want to see like we're seeing in college football all over the country. Okay? That's what I want to see. But this game tonight, listen, this game tonight matters. Okay? Who wins tonight favors the Eagles moving forward in their quest to become NFC East champs. Who would you if I'm Eagle fans and if I'm the guys in the organization, I'm pulling for the Giants to pull the upset off. Okay? I'm pulling for them to get the upset. Here's why. Man, if Washington figures out that quarterback position, Washington can be a threat. Washington can be a threat. They're good. They got a really good roster, and he's the best coach in the division, and that includes Mike McCarthy. I don't care. I'll take Ron Rivera over Mike McCarthy any day. I know he's got a Super Bowl trophy. But you're telling me you have Aaron Rodgers all them years and you win one Super Bowl? It just doesn't make sense. I've been saying that now for 2 years. Franklin said, God, my Skip Bayless voodoo doll will be with pins in it. Yeah. Right? The Cowboys are not going to beat – hey, I'll say it right now. I'll bury it, man. I'll bury the lead on you here. I don't believe the Cowboys are going to beat the Chargers this weekend. Ted says, I have no faith in Daniel Jones. Dude, he's Dave Brown 2.0. I don't see it either. I mean, I haven't seen it. Philip says, but I hate the Giants though. Oh, see? Now that's an Eagle fan. Right there. He goes, yeah, man, but I hate the Giants. I know you. Hey, wait a minute. You're right. Wait a minute here. I'm doing something. Man, can you – hey, Eagle fans, I want you to root for the Giants tonight. Wait a minute. Okay, I have to remember where I'm talking because most of the time you can get away with that like in California or Florida or Texas. You can get away with that. But you're not getting away with that in Boston, Philly, and Chicago. Hey, do me a favor, Bear fan. Won't you root for the Packers this week? No, right? Or hey, Patriot guys, you got to root for the Jets this week. Right? You got to root for the Jets. Hey, Sileo, this is the last time I'm watching you, bro. Did you say to Eagle Guy, hey, we got to root for the Giants tonight? Sileo, I kind of like you. But let's not ruin it here, okay? I'm on my 4th date with you, dude. You're making me now have scheduled programming so that I can watch you. Let's not F it up here by you telling me I have to root for the Giants tonight versus Washington, who both teams I hate anyway. Ted goes, not going to happen. Ted, you got to root for him. You got to root for the Giants tonight. No way, man. Hey, you guys would rather root for Satan. Hey, Celio, I'll hook you up with something here, kid. You think you're going to come into Philly, South Philly, and you think you're going to have me root for them dudes? I can't even say their name. LT, great. Whoever. Oh, yeah, the Giants. Who gives a – hey, I could barely stomach their name. I hate their colors. Everything that they represent. Got to root for them tonight. Oh, man. Hey, rooting for the Giants. Hey, Eagle guy, root for the Giants tonight. Sileo. Afraid not, kid. Yeah, afraid not. That ain't happening. Rooting for a tie. Philly Talk Podcast. I'm rooting for a tie at 2-2. So I can pray to God that both teams look like you know what. I'm rooting for the game not to end up in a 0-0. Oh, man. Sileo busting Eagle. Hey, no. See, the Eagles get into these Eagle guys get into these positions where they have to root for things they don't want to. Like, watch this. You got to root tonight for the Giants, and you got to root for Carson Wentz this weekend. You got to root for this guy to play well and to, like, you know, play 75%. And here, I don't know. Hey, can we move on? Look at Ted, man. Holy cow. Ted, I have no Giant or Washington dudes on my fantasy team. Oh, clearly not by design, right? Somebody asked me one day to put together an all-time state of Florida football team. Someone goes, how come there's no Gators on it? No, I never noticed that. They're like, really? Oh, man. And we hate Wentz. No, you got to root for him, dog. You want to bet Washington makes a trade for Jimmy Garoppolo? You want to make a bet? Muhammad, how you doing, man? Yo, brother. Like my boy Ice Cube. You want to bet they make a play for Jimmy Garoppolo? They're going to wait and see Garoppolo play for the first 5 weeks. Then they're going to call the 49ers up and go, I'll give you a first rounder for him. I guarantee you, especially if Washington, say they lose tonight and they're 0-2, man, I got to think they may go after Garoppolo. That's some of the word that's going behind the scenes right now is that Jimmy Garoppolo potentially could be a Washington dude. I think Washington would be a contender too. Oh, Muhammad, were you on with us when Ice Cube came on? He's been on twice already. Dude, hey, Muhammad, I love West Side Connection. That's one of my favorite albums. I tell him that all the time. I love West Side Connection. Man, that album is so dope, man. I love that. Mac 10, it's a great album, man. Great album. I think they're going to try to do something again, too. Yeah, I love that album. The Gangster, the Killer, and the Dope Dealer. Yeah. Well, hey, Muhammad, remember something. I'm not white. I'm Italian. Okay? Just remember that. Like, when I fill out my applications, okay, I fill out, someone goes, are you black, white, or whatever? I check other and go, I'm Italian there, man. How you doing? I'm Italian, man. Yeah, I don't think so, but I love it. How you doing, Monkey My Bananas? How you doing, man? All right. Hey, guys, man, this is dope. Listen, we got to talk to Jason Cole. I want to get a national perspective on the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, the NFC East, tonight's game. My friend Jason Cole, please stick with us here and keep it right here on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
Glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, 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 and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Welcome back. National Football Show. Jason Cole right around the corner, our NFL insider, Hall of Fame voter. Oh, by the way, I want to send a lot of love to Fox 29. You guys watch the show every day. Thank you. Fox 29 in Philly. We seemingly have become a favorite around the newsroom there. So we want to send some love out to you guys, man. Thank you so much. My guy Gary Cobb is just absolutely pimping the show, and I thank him so much. And Gary's going to join us on Monday at 5:30, and we're going to talk some Eagle football after the weekend. And so we'll get his conversation. That'll be on Monday. So we're so looking forward to it. And we thank our friends at Fox 29 in Philadelphia for making us one of their favorite shows. Thank you, man. By the way, Ken, Classic Rock, hey, you know that highlight reel that is circulating around the internet if you Google Big Sills highlights? It's when I played my college ball. I got to tell you guys a real quick story here. So I'm friends with Lars from Metallica. When I lived in San Francisco, I broadcast on KMBR out there, and it's one of the jobs that, was one of my first jobs. I also started on TV out there on KGO. And I, ran into Lars at particular events. And it became something that, you run into all the band members, and they're based there in San Francisco, Metallica. So we became friends. And so a friend of mine put that highlight reel together because somebody at Entercom put it together for me. And we use Whiskey in a Jar. And so get this, I get a call from Lars. Sills, man, I love that highlight reel of yours. God, it was just great. You were great at Miami. I was like, great, dude. I'm glad you saw it. Thank you, man. It's an honor that you even watched it. He goes, hey, man, where'd you get the permission to use the music? I go, what do you mean? He goes, no, I'm just asking. Who gave you permission? He goes, whoa, you thought we were boys? And wait a minute now. You just thought we were boys? And I go, yeah. He goes, it's cool, but this is how we make money. Okay? That's property rights stuff. And I'm going like, wait a minute here, man. All right, man. Enough with that. We'll get back into talking about tonight's game. Washington team, formerly known as the Skins, I guess we're using a Prince reference there to that Giants game tonight. But by the way, my friend now, Jason Cole, make sure you get his book. It's on John Elway, A Relentless Life. Please make sure you go over to Amazon and you purchase the book. All right. I want to start with the Eagles here, Jace. After week 1, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but were you surprised with how well the Eagles looked against the Falcons on the road?
Moderately. I mean, I thought they were, sharper, organized. Certainly Hurts looked better than I would have expected from him. Pass rush was good. It's solid, but a lot of it is also, Atlanta was just, their offensive line is not very good. And, Matt Ryan is running for his life. And the fact that he doesn't have Julio as that main guy, and Pitts is not ready to step into that role, and neither is Ridley. So they don't have this presence at wide receiver or offensive weapon, wherever it is, of a guy who he's going to be able to get open at just about any time, which gives Ryan some kind of fail-safe or consistency on offense. That's not there yet. So I think Philly caught a really good matchup for themselves, but they played really good football. Don't get me wrong, but really good football against a mediocre team. Indications in that division, I would say Philly, after 1 week, probably the class of the division at this point in time.
How about this too, Jace? To your point, Dallas does open up with the Bucs. Washington had to play the Chargers, which is, to me, it looks like a playoff roster. And Denver rolled into MetLife and took on the Giants, and they look pretty effective with Teddy Bridgewater. So we're going to learn a little more, you think, this week against San Francisco as San Francisco rolls into the link, no?
Yeah, look, San Francisco is a better quality team. So, how is Philly going to do against a team that has, just like they have an offense, they have weapons they know how to use, they have a system that's been put in place. I don't think the quarterback situation is great yet, and we'll see if Lance turns out to be that guy. But it's better. The entire offense for San Francisco is far more functional right now than whatever Atlanta has. So this is a real challenge against a real team with also a better defense, I think. The 49ers, I don't trust their secondary at all, especially now with the loss of Verrett. But I think their front seven is pretty strong.
Jace, how do you look at this? Because people, they're saying a two quarterback system in San Fran. It's not really. They're not alternating series. They've got a few design red zone plays for Trey Lance. It's nothing like we see in college with next guy gets the next series or whatever. It's nothing like that. But however, I got to think with Garoppolo, he even made a comment either today or yesterday where he said, look, I'm doing the best I can in the situation. To me, if the stuff that went on in Green Bay has affected maybe the locker room a little bit, how is the stuff where, the 49ers, and they kept him informed, and I know it's a long-winded question here, but they went after Stafford. They looked at Deshaun Watson. Then they traded up and they ended up getting Trey Lance. He's gone through a lot. How does that not affect the rest of the roster, you think?
Well, I think it has an effect, but I think it's also up front. It's along the lines.
It is
of
up front.
It's not a front. It's not a false idea, right? Where best guy's going to play. It's obvious that Trey Lance is the next guy up, and everybody knows it. It's just a matter of time. It's sort of along the lines of what Kansas City did, but when they went from Smith to Mahomes. I will give Andy Reid credit, however, is he kept it absolutely clean for that 1 year. He said, Alex Smith is our quarterback. This guy's going to go over here and learn. And we're not mixing in plays and trying to figure it out. This is an example I often think of with Kyle Shanahan, as Dad had this problem too, is they get too cute because they're very smart people. All right. The Shanahans are really, really bright. And they think they can outthink a situation sometimes. And really in football, you can't. A lot of the time you have to make it clean. Otherwise, it's going to get muddy no matter what. And I think in San Francisco, it's going to get muddy, and we're going to see how well they survive it. And we're going to see if Garoppolo can play through this, where he says, look, it only pays for me to play as well as I can and do everything in my power so that some other team, when I'm out on the market, gives me that long-term deal that I think I deserve next. And that's the only way that he can look at it, is play as good as you possibly can, help this team win as much as you can, and grin and bear it and wait until the season's over.
If I were Washington and he gets out to the gate and he goes into the link and wins this game, I don't know how you don't make a call to John Lynch and finally give San Francisco what they want and go, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a first rounder. The guys that are coming out of college at the quarterback position, I guess the kid at OU is good. I mean, the kid at North Carolina, there's a few other guys. But this guy Garoppolo, his health issue has been a factor. But guess what, Jason? I don't care about 5 years from now. I care about 5 minutes from now. And if Garoppolo,
but it's not going to happen in the season. It's not going to happen during the season.
So you don't think Jimmy G gets traded during the season this year?
No, not at this point, because this team's a contender. Once you're in the season, you have to compete to win, and San Francisco has to compete to try and win and get to the playoffs and possibly win a championship this year. Now, are they going to do that? I think they're a little bit of a distant shot, but we're only 2 years removed from when they were in the Super Bowl. I think they're playing for now. They're playing for this moment right here, right now. This is what we're going to do. And we will just get through it the best we can, sort of the way that Dallas back in the 70s, the original sort of, two-headed monster, bad situation. I mean, we can go way back and get
Craig Morton, Staubach,
right. Morton, Staubach, which was a headache for both of those guys. And it got to the point where they both went to Landry at one point and said, pick one and go with it because this is not working. And Landry finally sort of figured it out. There have been other situations before.
Jimmy Johnson and Steve Walsh. I mean, just to be present a little bit, right?
That'd be more. I think, look, Stevie just took for just to get value at that spot, and eventually turned and flipped Walsh. He knew all along that Aikman was a way better player.
I agree. Let me get into tonight's game here. How much longer do we go with the Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge and Daniel Jones experiment? Because if you go 8 more games or you go to the halfway point of this season, this guy will play over 30 games. How much more do you need to see from this guy? I look at Daniel Jones and go like this. I don't know. I don't see it. And with Dave Gettleman's picks and some of the moves that they've made, how much longer, Jason?
Well, I don't know how much you put on Judge. That's of those 3 guys, how much of this is Judge's fault? Or did he just come in and the Giants said, look, tell us whether you think this guy can play. And we've invested something. Get us through this. And then if it doesn't work, we're blowing out Gettleman and we're blowing out Jones, and we'll let you restart. That's the question in my mind. Or does Judge take is there some shrapnel that sort of affects him in this whole process? For right now, I can't say the Judge is the problem, all right, because it's what you say. Jones just doesn't look good enough. And if Jones is just not good enough, that's on Jones and that's on Gettleman, because Gettleman's the one who pushed the chips in on Jones, and those 2 guys have to go as a result, and then Judge survives. But if I'm deeming that Judge is losing this team and can't get the team back, then that adds to the mix of whether I get rid of all 3. But knowing the Giants the way they are and how patient and consistent they are, I would have very strong doubt that Judge is going to get blown out with all this. Judge is going to get an opportunity to pick his own guy if this doesn't work with Daniel Jones.
Jason, how big a game is this for Dallas against the Chargers? They got to go on the road to SoFi, and the Chargers, this Derwin James kid can play. Joey Bosa can rush the passer. Their O-line handled, I thought, a very good Washington defensive front 7. Justin Herbert can play.
Justin Herbert made 2 throws in the last 3 minutes of the game, which were big time. Which, now, as I tweeted out time, clock management, like snapping the ball with either 13 or 18 seconds left on the play clock. I'm like, in the last 3 minutes, like, you got to think that one through a little bit better. But the clock management was bad. The throws were impeccable. I mean, he was slinging it on Sunday, and that was a significant game for them to pull out. They're still playing, a one-score kind of game, but on the road, season opener, cross country, I'll give them a lot of credit for that victory. That's very impressive. For Dallas, to get back to your original point of the question, look, Dallas is under fire all the time, right? I mean, what are they? I mean, are they the 8-8 and now 1? I mean, we can't just say 8-8 anymore. We have to say 8-8-1. Typical 500 kind of team. Or are they something real that's going to make some kind of playoff run? And I don't trust them. I think they're really banged up, between what happened to Martin in the first week, what's now happened to Lyle Collins, and now they lose, DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, this is the ugly start for them to a season. And I don't know that you can win with Dak Prescott thrown 50 times every single week. That's not a healthy way to go. You've got to get some kind of balance to your offense. And they had zero balance at Tampa Bay in the first week.
I want to throw a couple more questions at you here. The game between the Chiefs and the Ravens. Lamar Jackson is 0-3 in his career versus Patrick Mahomes. Against everyone else in his career, he's 30-5. When you look at him and what he's accomplished as a starter, give me your assessment how far you think this Ravens team. Now, look, they went on the road. They got beat by the Raiders. It's a mass unit in the second or in their running back core. I thought they kind of
secondary,
and I thought they kind of panicked by adding all those guys that really didn't matter in the running back position against the Raiders. How do you see this? I mean, is this a game where you're going to really test whether or not Lamar Jackson is the guy that can win games like this? Because, hey, if you're going to be a $38 to $45 million a year guy, don't you have to win games like this?
No, you don't have to win games like this. You have to win the other games to put yourself in position where this game matters. And if you do that in this league today, you are a $30 to $40 million a year quarterback. And I think that ultimately, as much as I think that Lamar Jackson will be very fortunate over his career to win one Super Bowl, part of that is because there are limitations in his game, such as he's not great at throwing the ball, particularly on third and long situations. But the other bigger problem that he has no control over is he ain't Patrick Mahomes. He's just not. Okay, he's not anywhere close. They're not in the same stratosphere. All right, Patrick Mahomes is the elite talent of that position now. Aaron Rodgers was for a certain period of time. Tom Brady sets a standard. Patrick Mahomes is going to be the guy over the next 10 to 15 years, God willing, that this all happens, right? He's the guy. And what you have to do if you're one of those other teams in the AFC, like Baltimore, is say, okay, what can we put together that if Patrick Mahomes either has an off year or his supporting cast is no longer that good, can we get that shot at it? And I think Baltimore has the quarterback for at least the next 6 to 8 years to do that. My question is, when is Lamar Jackson going to slow down? Because if he's not a runner, he's not a good enough passer. And that's where this becomes problematic about what are you paying the guy and what's the guarantee and when can you get out of the contract as his body starts to fall apart. And this is where Lamar Jackson is really not going to get it with not having an agent who can anticipate all of those issues.
Finally here, Odell Beckham, second week in a row now. We were told that his rehab was insane. He was running at full speed, and all of a sudden this will be the second week now that he's not on the active roster. And the Browns are saying that they're just being careful with him, but they've been very successful without him. What do you think the future of Odell Beckham is this year in Cleveland? Do you think he's dealt? Do you think he becomes part of the offense? Jarvis Landry If you had to say one of the top 10 wide receivers, one of the top 5 wide receivers in the game, you could throw in there that Jarvis Landry can make an argument that he is one of the top guys, and Odell Beckham, since he's been in Cleveland, is averaging 60 yards a game. I mean, I don't know, Jason. It just hasn't worked out. What do you see as the future there?
Who's Odell Beckham?
Yeah, that's what I'm with you, man. I mean, the guy makes a catch on Monday night, and that's all I've seen. He's got a highlight reel as long as Jadeveon Clowney. Guy hits a Michigan quarterback, and that's kind of what I've only seen. I don't know.
I mean, look, no, he has more than that. I mean, he, at his best in New York, he was a dynamic wide receiver. He was a game changer. He was this. He was that. He was the next big thing. That was a long time ago. I mean, what are you? Where do you want to be?
No, I'm with you. I don't know.
And at a certain point, this is not on Cleveland anymore. And I don't know what his value. If he doesn't play, what kind of value does he have in trade? Some other team that's like, oh, well, we'll speculate and we'll give you, hey, dude, you can't be in a better situation than to play for this team right now as a wide receiver because they got 2 tight ends who are pretty good players. They got a good wide receiver on the other side, and they can run the ball forever. You're going to be getting wide open looks in a lot of time, okay? So get yourself on the field. What have you been doing? Do you want to be great? And I think he just likes the idea of being great, but the actual process, it's gone, man. Prove something to me. If I was a team trading for Odell Beckham at this point in time, I'm like, why do I give you anything? What I mean, so
I know my market value for him, and here's the problem with this guy makes like between 14 and $17 million. And I look at him right now, if I had a value, it's a 5th round pick at best.
I don't know about that. Look, I think I'm
not giving you a 3 for a guy who's been hurt for the last couple of years and has not produced anything.
I might give you a 3 that can become a 1 if he does certain standards. I'm willing to do that. I'll go higher than you. But the whole point is he ain't worth a couple of 1s.
Yeah, no way.
No, and it's like you got to play. And you got to prove it. And you also have to prove to me that you're willing to do the things that are hard in a place like Cleveland. Because why? If you don't want to work on a good team, why are you going to work for me?
I completely agree 100%. Folks, don't forget, man, get my friend's book, A Relentless Life. It's about John Elway. You can follow him on Twitter, too. Jason Cole. Jason, brother, thank you so much. Jason Cole 62. Make sure you follow him. Thank you so much, brother. Catch you next week.
Anytime, dude. Be good.
You got it. That's my friend Jason Cole. All right. Would you guys be interested? Would Eagle fans be interested in Odell Beckham Jr.? You imagine him on the other side of Devontae Smith? We'll hit on that. We'll look at the rest of the games this week. Also, tonight's game again, Washington and New York. You keep it right here on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. Glasses for cocktails, right?
It's for this, and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
Welcome back, National Football Show, Dan Sileo. And you, by the way, Matt Hatter, awesome, man. Hit the like button for Big Sills. Thank you, brother. Really cool. Smile says, I'm not taking Odell Beckham for 14 to 17 million bucks. I'm with you. I'm not doing that either, man. And Jason's crazy if you think that guy can garner a third-round draft choice. I'm not giving a 3 up for that guy. No freaking way. He's been banged up the last couple of years. He's been non-productive. They could not fit him into that offense. They've gone through a bunch of coaches. Now, maybe that's on the end of the organization, but it's just been a horrible fit there. And now this is the second week that he's not active. And people are out there going like this. Well, maybe he's just not ready. Joe Burrow had complete reconstruction of his knee. And he's playing in week 1. I mean, dude, get the hell out there. He's right. Odell Beckham, who? Matt Hatter says, I'll take Rager over Odell Beckham Jr. Probably because he's more reliable when it comes to health. Monkey My Bananas. Yeah, go Giants because their win won't matter. Tone says, I'm good on OBJ. He comes with too much. I would take Antonio Brown over. Oh, man. AB, hey, Matt Hatter, AB is back. Did you see him in that game against the Cowboys? 2 dudes on that Buccaneer team are going to absolutely look 10 times better than they did a year ago. Remember, Gronk came out of retirement? I didn't think Gronkowski looked good into the playoffs. And once he got into the playoffs, that was Gronk playoff, kind of, at about 75%. Gronk in the first game against the Cowboys, I thought he looked like old Gronk. Do you know the age difference between Kelsey and him? Or like 1 or 2 years? I was always under the impression Rob Gronkowski, I thought he was like 5 or 6 years older than Kelsey. It's not true. He's not. He's not that much older. By the way, I would say this to the Eagles. Get Zach Ertz more involved in that game plan. You know what happened to the Eagles with him and Zach Ertz? Let me tell you what they tried to do here. GW, appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. OBJ, no way, man. I don't want him on Philly either. But, guys, tell me if you think I'm wrong here on this one. Zach Ertz got into a Carson Wentz place in the organization. And follow me here, okay? Just follow me here. He got into a Carson Wentz place where the organization started doing this. Look, he makes a king's ransom. We're not going to pay him. The quarterback situation is a train wreck. This was when they had Wentz still on the roster. And they just started doing this. Well, here are the guys that we're going to move on from. Eventually, they came to the conclusion they were going to move Wentz. And remember, the entire summer, there were conversations, Buffalo, Jacksonville. There were a couple other teams that Zach, his name, even on our show here, Merrill Reese even said it, he'd be stunned. No, what did he say, actually? He said there'd be a better chance of me being on the Eagles active roster than Zach Ertz. He said that. He had to go on Angelo's show and WIP to kind of correct some of the stuff that he said here. That's all right. We love Merrill. Love Merrill. Always will. But the point is that they were trying to weed him out of the game plan. And all of a sudden, on the way to the opening day roster, Howie went like this. You know what, man? Why am I going to move him when potentially he could become a major part of a group that we have here with our tight end group and be one of the better tight end groups that could help develop my young quarterback? Why would I end up dumping Zach? Really, for money? This is not supposed to be about nickels and dimes. This is supposed to be about acquiring good players. And Zach Ertz is still a good football player with a good quarterback. You put him in Green Bay. Watch this. If you put Zach Ertz in Green Bay, how do you think he would perform with Aaron Rodgers? How do you think he'd perform? Tone says, I believe the Eagles are trying to position Goddard to be the tight end. If they do a lot with Ertz, I may have an impact on the development on the contract for him. Just a thought. What do you think? Yeah, no, Tone. But here though, Tone, you're worrying about contracts when you're trying to worry about games. You feel me? I don't want to be worrying about a contract when I'm trying to win a ball game. Contracts should not be part of the equation when you're trying. I understand when you're more talking about getting reps and practicing in the games. That part I agree, because the contract stuff will come behind it. You know, I mean, that's why you don't see as many reps for Zach right now. But talent's going to eventually supersede that, especially with all of a sudden Jalen Hurts starts having more of a comfort zone with Zach over the other tight ends in the group. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if there becomes a comfort zone there and there becomes more of a level of comfort that you know that guy, hey, Carson Wentz had a great comfort zone with Zach Ertz. Zach's a great target. I think he's got a lot of football left. I do. I think he's got football left in him. I think the whole situation in the offseason played a gigantic role, I think, in the entire temperament of how they saw him. And now all of a sudden, isn't it almost like they've done a 360 on him? And they went, well, you know, he's here now. Right? Kevin says, yeah, the first Howie idea that makes sense. Maybe Howie doesn't want to do some things. Or he probably makes Howie do some of these. Absolutely. It could have been the owner came in and goes, where are we going with Zach here now that his favorite? Hey, and you know what, too? They probably just associated that Zach and Wentz were hand in hand with one another, and they may have even just assumed that Zach wanted out of Philly. I've heard nothing but Zach Ertz personally say that he wants to remain in Philly. He wants to play in Philly. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. He enjoys the city. He lives in the area, unlike Ben Simmons. I mean, that guy lives in Trollville in Instagram, somewhere in Southern California. That guy's the biggest tool in Philly, honestly. Ben Simmons, he is so anti-Philly. I've never seen an athlete that just like doesn't fit into Philadelphia sports more so than him. Him and Glendross would probably be the two dudes in my lifetime where I would go like this. Sileo, name me two guys in Philadelphia sports history since you've been doing sports that you would say never really look like Philly. Okay, Eric Glendross and Ben Simmons. Those two dudes, I mean, when I think of Philadelphia sports, Eric Glendross and Ben Simmons don't come to mind. The only thing that comes to mind with Eric Glendross is when Scott Stevens plastered him right there in the middle of the arena, and he had his brains all over the place. That's the only time I remember, Eric Lindros. Is that Lindros picking up his chiclets after Scott Stevens just knocked the bejesus out of him? How you doing? You know what's funny about that? I talked to Scott Stevens numerous times about that. I go, what did you say to him before you killed him like that? He goes like this, big cells. I told him to keep his head up. This guy wouldn't keep his head up. Knocked him the bejesus out. Oh, man, that was a big hit. Big hit. Big hit. Jay Franklin, I think Goddard now is better than it's really. And that's probably why they're even now trying to work him more in when it comes to getting more reps. We sure do. That whole team was great. Kasperitis. Yeah, Kasperitis did too, man. He sure did, man. Hey, oh my God, Kasperitis. I forgot that hit, man. Woo, baby. Man, is that a good hit? Okay, that's a great hit, man. Big hit. Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, so the other factor going into this week is playing at home for Jalen Hurts. Philly fan after week one has been worked up. By the way, the Krauses have worked you guys up into a lather now. They've worked you guys up. Oh, my God, this Philly team. Yeah. Actually, I was pretty impressed. I won't lie. I was pretty impressed after week one. But now you're coming home. And now you got that crazy crew that's going to be at Lincoln Financial. And they're going to be chomping at the bit. Don't you know what the bet? Don't you know what? You're going to get a chance to play in front of your fans. You're going to get a chance to put things out there and get this, to start out the season 2-0. Because personally, I think the rest of the division is wobbling right now. Now, who are the Eagles? Are they the team that beat the Falcons up? Or are we going to know more about them after this 49er game? I think we're going to know more about them after this game. Because, look, I think it's great you started on the road. You start on the road. Then you have to come home. And you're playing a playoff roster. Then you got Dallas on the flip side. Dallas has to travel to SoFi. Dallas is banged up. DeMarcus Lawrence, 6 to 8 weeks, he's out. Okay? Dev says, silent snap count. False starts for the Niners. Boy, man. Hey, if you guys go over, I love that picture that I put up on my Twitter page. It's of the link. It's Big Sills at the link. You got to see it. I was broadcasting and freezing my ass off in Philly that day. Holy cow, was it cold. I know. Sorry, man. I've gotten soft in my days between Florida and California. Man, it's like 60 degrees out, and it's really cold. Sills, about 20 below, bitch. Got to get the ice chunker off. Come on, man. Why don't you come back east and be what you really are instead of one of them dudes? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I tell everybody living back in the East Coast, man, you know, it takes you 35 minutes to get your clothes on, then another 20 minutes to warm your car up, then another 10 minutes to get the ice off your car, then another 5 minutes to walk in the snow to your car. Holy, yeah. I'm in sandals, bro. Ernest says, now that we have better potential wide receivers, we need more of a true tight end, which is Goddard. All right. So you're talking more of a guy like a Gronkowski type of guy, right? Guys that can block in the run game too. To me, that means you have to. Well, if you're going to be more that way, Ernest, that means you have to be more of a run-oriented team, and I don't think they're a run-oriented team. Kevin says Raiders and Eagles are the two most colorful fan bases. I don't know if I told you guys, but I was part of the broadcast team for the Raiders. And I was hired personally by Al Davis. It's a true story. I was hired by Al. I even posted my name tag that they give all to the personnel people for the Raiders. It's one of the most treasured things I have, that Raider name badge. They gave it to me, and I traveled with the team, which meant I traveled with Al. I traveled to every game with Al Davis. And I had a great time being part of that broadcast team. Absolutely. It was one of the funnest fan bases. Hey, the Black Hole. My wife would go, get this, I would be broadcasting at Raider games, and my wife would be in the Black Hole with all those crazy fans. And she came and she's like, man, Sills, it's really a great crowd. It's really a great crowd. These guys would show up with switchblades and American Express cards. It was totally crazy great. Just great, just a great fan base. Marcus says Buffalo Bills. Oh, my God, Marcus. You know what, though, Marcus? I didn't really realize how crazy Bills Mafia was. That is a maniac bunch of fans. You know, my boy Jim Kelly said this. I never want to play in Buffalo as long as I live. Never. He lives there now. You know, remember, he played at the Houston Gamblers with the USFL. He goes, I'll never play in Buffalo. Dude, he hasn't left since he played there. GW says, Sileo, San Francisco, pretender or contender? Good question. I think they're a contender. I think if Garoppolo's healthy, they're a contender. I think they got a good football team. I think Jason Verrett being hurt hurts them, helps the Eagles this weekend. Jay Franklin says you're going to need a hearing protection all the way to the 26th. Get loud, Philly. Boy, I tell you, man, that place is going to rock. I hope the Falcons beat the Bucs this week. That was one of the worst performances by a Matt Ryan offense I have seen since he's been the starting quarterback in Atlanta. That was really a horrible effort by that group that I thought that they had addressed so many things. I was actually shocked. I think Devontae tops 100 yards this game. Boy, that's if he gets time, Muhammad. That's if he gets time. How about the other game that's going to be going on this weekend? What do you guys make of Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson? You know what I love about Lamar? I so love that kid. I love everything about him. I love that dude. He's not Patrick Mahomes, but does that guy run with a fearlessness? Does he play the game on the edge? He is so freaking tough of a football player. Every time he takes off, I agree. I think Kansas City wins because I think Baltimore is in trouble with the fact that their running game is going to be affected because of all the injuries. Okay, I really do. I think there's going to be a massive impact there with that. But, man, I love the way that Lamar Jackson plays the game. This dude looks for contact. Man, if I were John Harbaugh, I'd be telling him, dude, I know 2 fumbles. Hey, 2 fumbles, man, he had in that Raider game. Cost him the game. But they never would have been in that game without him. They never would have been in the game. He's so good. That's going to be an interesting ball game, too, this weekend. I actually think Baltimore, they got their backs up against it a little bit here. You start out 0-2, but here was a football team that had that tough schedule last year, too. So you open up on the road against the Raiders. Now you're opening up, and you got to play Kansas City. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for, okay? That's a lot. A lot to ask for. By the way, real quick here. James Franklin's name is really picking some steam up. I want to throw something else at you guys here in a second, but James Franklin, the head coach of Penn State, is now in, like, there's interest in that Southern Cal job. Southern Cal, in my opinion, would have to pay him north of $10 million. He's making 10 now. But keep an eye on that. You know whose name I threw out there on my Twitter page? What do you make of this? If you're USC, do you offer the job, or do you at least have an interview with Deion Sanders? Jacksonville State head coach. Coach Sanders. Coach Sanders coaching USC. Remember what this is all about in college. You know what it's about? Recruiting. So if Deion Sanders picks the phone up and goes, hey, this is prime time. Southern Cal head coach. Hey, yeah, this is prime. Come on down here to USC. You know, I mean, you could look, you're a star already, but how'd you like to be a bigger star? You play for me. You know every game's going to be on national television because primetime's on the sideline. Ain't doing. Okay? SC wouldn't have the onions to do it, though. They wouldn't have the onions to do that. And a somewhat experienced, not really great experienced coach. So what? You see it happen in basketball all the time. Right? I know, man. Hey, Primetime's watch got stolen, man. I think that's classic down there. I threw out the name Joe Brady. I like that. Joe Brady's a hell of a candidate for that. But, man, you're Southern Cal. Go get a big guy. R. Anthony says, no, Odell, he's a cancer. I don't even think he's a cancer anymore. I just don't. Browns became elite when Odell wasn't on the field. You're damn right with that. They couldn't figure out how to implement him into the offensive game plan. We finally got our locker room under control. R. Anthony makes a very important point there. There's a calming in the organization, at least after week one. Right? There's a calming in the organization where you do this. Well, okay. There's kind of a calming now. Yeah, Matt Hatter's like, I love Sanders. We'll let you see. USC's a bigger, understand this about USC. USC is a bigger ticket in Los Angeles than the Rams and the Chargers. There's more Southern Cal fans. You know, it's funny, when those two teams ended up moving to Los Angeles, the Rams and the Chargers, I don't remember the city of Los Angeles begging the NFL to come back to the league. I mean, or come back to the city, let alone having two teams there. I don't remember that. They were happy with USC football. They were good. USC football packs the house. They get 75,000 in there. Yeah, Muhammad says Urban Meyer. Hey, how about Urban Meyer had to come out after week one and even address? That just shows you how little time he has in Jacksonville. I am so not an Urban Meyer guy. So Urban Meyer had to come out, and he felt that he had to address the USC job after week one of his tenure as a Jags head coach. Dude, why did you even address that? I would have looked at the reporter who asked me that. Coach, your name is being brought up as the head coach potentially of USC. I would have fired back at that reporter and said, I just got here. How could you ask me such a stupid question? My name is brought up. My name is brought up for every coaching job. And it will be forever. Look at my coaching record in college. It's not hard to figure out or plug in that when you have one of the greatest win percentages of all time in college football history, that my name's going to get brought up. I would actually have turned that thing around and said, don't ever ask me that question again. This is my final job. My final job's here in Jacksonville. I'm not coaching another team. I have no other dreams. My dream is to get this team to a Super Bowl. He should have answered it like that. Fired it back at him. I'm not going anywhere. And that would have put everybody in that organization, including the players, going, this guy's all in. You want to hear your coach making statements like that, not like this. I would never leave after one game to coach USC. Well, really? Hey, thanks for telling me something I already knew. And if you did think about it, you're not the guy now for Jags. He's such a fraud, that guy. I call him Urban Liar. He's such a fraud. He really is. This is why I keep telling you guys. Okay, watch this. So the Sirianni first game. Let's just break that down versus Urban. Watch what this guy did. This guy, after the first game of his career as an NFL head coach, his number one question that made any significance wasn't, how well do you think Trevor Lawrence played? It was this. Hey, can we shoot down the USC rumors? What? That guy's a TV star now. That's right. Mainstream media loves Urban Meyer because you know why? He's a bullshit artist. That's why. He completely is that. Here, watch this. Here, and I'm going to give it to you as straight as I can. So this guy in his 6 years as head coach in Gainesville, how about this? 6 years, okay? He wins 2 national championships in Gainesville with the Gators, right? He has 37 arrests. Aaron Hernandez is on that team. Numerous people, including Cam Newton, thrown off that team. All of a sudden, he comes up and he's got this illness. Okay, fair enough. Not questioning it. He goes to Ohio State, takes the job after Tressel unceremoniously gets fired for stupid things. I mean, tattoos. You fired Jim Tressel for that? Really? So what happens? Meyer parachutes into that gravy chain of a job called the Ohio State Buckeyes. Guy goes in there, and he ups the talent, brings kids from the southeastern part of the country, and they're mowing people over. They're destroying Michigan. All of a sudden, his wide receiver coach, Zach Smith, it's found out he's beaten his wife, and he's been hiding the evidence. What happened? All of a sudden, he gets sick. You can't walk into another kid's home ever again if you're Urban Meyer and go like this. I'm going to treat your son like I would my own. What's that, coach? Didn't you have issues with all those arrests in Gainesville with players with guns? Guys were shooting guns off. Guys were doing cocaine in Gainesville. What about the thing with the coach in Ohio State that was beaten on his wife? Yeah, go look at the Zach Smith story. You know why he kept Zach Smith on his roster? Because he was a nephew of Earl Bruce. And Bruce gave Meyer a start. That's why. And all of a sudden, Meyer's got headaches, and he's out. I got to get out of here. Meyer would never coach college football again. How do you think a guy like that could knock on a kid's door and go to any one of you and say, I'd like your son to come play for me? Knowing the kind of guy that dude is. 36 arrests. 36 arrests. Urban Meyer's being questioned. Hey, do you want the SC job? Not taking the SC job. The guy will never coach college kids ever again in his life. Never. Guy's a fraud. And actually, he's a turd. Awful dude. Go says Eagles. Eagles, baby. Eagles. Let's go. You feeling it, go? After 1 week versus the Falcons, he's feeling it. Matt Hatter, Jalen Hurts as a rookie, had a better game one against the Saints than the rookie quarterback coming out this year did in his first start. He did. As I go back and think about that last year, yeah. He's Luke, the evil college coach. In the movie. Monkey mind bananas. I'm not going to lie to you guys, though. I'm still not there with Jalen yet. I'm still not there. That's not shade. If you guys know anything about me, I'm not shade. Hey, by the way, some of you out there are probably going, man, Sileo hates Urban Meyer because he was a Gator. Okay, fair enough. There's something to that. Like, hey, I know I asked you guys tonight to root for the Giants. Hey, Eagle guy, root for the Giants. Watch this. You know, Xander this weekend has. So Xander's got his Bama team playing the Gators this weekend. You're lucky. You're lucky, Xander. You're lucky, Krause Jr. Because I cannot root. Hey, I just asked the Eagle guys to root for the Giants. I almost can't do it with a straight face. Hey, Eagle fans, you got to root for the Giants tonight. You need the upset because you need to slow down. That you don't want Washington getting hot, right? Hey, wait a minute, Gio. Never my hatred for the Giants. Gio, wait a minute. So you don't wait. Hold on here, man. You don't want Washington to go 1-1. You don't want Washington hanging with you. What if you get beat by the Niners this weekend? You don't want that team close to you. They're a pretty good football team. You got to root for the Giants tonight. Yeah, someone would probably look around and go, Sileo, you got to root for the Gators this week to beat, Bama. The Gators. Oh, no. Oh, no. Someone would always say, Sileo, we got some pretty good football teams. And I used to always do this. You know, when I was playing in Miami, I'd go, yeah, we got some really good football teams in the state, Florida State, Miami, and that other team. They'd go, you mean the Gators? I go, sure. Can't you say it? I go, yeah, sure. Team up there. You know, I-75, sure, whatever. They're the Gators. I don't care what you call them. I'm not rooting for them. I could never root for them. That ain't happening. You got to root for the Giants tonight. All right, we got a couple more games to look at. Also, the Cowboy game is a bigger game, though. The Cowboy game is a bigger game. Gio, don't go anywhere. Each and every single one of you will hit on everything we're hitting on here today. You keep it right here on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
The glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rib...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Beyond Cooley Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
Welcome back, National Football Show. Dan Sileo. So let me throw this at you here. Will Eagle fan even watch the Giants in Washington tonight? I talked to Krause, and he's like, who cares tonight? Who cares about that game? Next guy up, 49ers, then the Cowboys. Let's take one at a time here. Took care of business in Atlanta. They sucked. Okay, I get it, Sileo. I get it. That's your attitude should be. Larry says, go Eagles. Can we get Mulata to transition to full? Hey, Larry, why not, man? He played rugby. He put his ass back there. How about giving him the ball? Have you seen him running those rugby highlights? That dude was running dudes over in Australia. Hey, man, he could probably run with the ball too. How about, wait a minute. You know what? They should have made Jordan Mulata a tight end, like Gronk. I bet he's got great hands. I'll bet you anything Mulata's got great hands. Can you see that guy? What is he, 6'7"? I mean, he beat Gronk. You know what I would really do if I were, Nick Sirianni? I'd have some design plays that maybe on the goal line. I'd throw the football to that guy. Right? I mean, his versatility as an athlete is on display in his history of being a rugby guy. My daughter plays Division I rugby, and those guys are great athletes. Tough as doorknobs, too. I mean it, man, especially the guys in Australia, New Zealand. People who play in those leagues, man, are some of the best rugby players on the planet. Can you imagine Jordan Mulata being a tight end in the NFL? Holy cow, what is he, 380 pounds? He looks like he's 265, right? Jeez, oh, man. Right? I mean, that's some football player. And they just get this, and they just dropped a pair of pads on him. Yeah, they did. That's right. Hey, Vegas did get annihilated on that when the Fridge scored in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, right? They dropped 48 on him. Kevin says he's 385. Dude, he's 385, and he looks like he's like 260. ZTV, right? Can you see Mulata running across the middle, catching one-hand passes and blowing dudes up? Whew. He'd be the best fullback since Mike Allstott. Man, I like Mike Allstott too. Mike's a good dude, man. He is. All right, let me throw this at you here too. Teams after week 1 panic. Cowboys, Bills, Browns. Would those 3 teams be in a panic mode? On a scale of 1 to 10, if I'm Dallas, I'm not panicked. But after what I saw Philly do, and the way Philly went about listen, I think the problem, and not what you guys saw, but what the nation hasn't seen about the Eagles, Titans, I think that's a panic. I think the Titans are a panic. Was the way and how they were all structured, and the sideline was so well done. The play calling, the timeouts, the sequence of plays, everything and it was scripted so well. Like, dude, coaching was on display. You know what? I'll make a comparison. Do you guys think Brian Flores is a good coach? The guy who's in Miami right now, who was on that Belichick staff for 15 years. My opinion, I think Brian Flores is going to be the best coach ever to come out of the Belichick tree. And that includes Bill O'Brien. I think Bill O'Brien's a fairly decent coach. I wouldn't say Bill's exceptional, but he won division titles with guys like TJ Yates with the Houston Texans, right? And I thought he did a nice job after the Paterno mess at Penn State. I thought he did a nice job, okay? I don't think he's exceptional, but Charlie Weiss sucked. Romeo Cornell was more of a Parcells guy, but he was in with Bill, and I never really thought he was all that hot. Right? All the coordinators. Josh McDaniels sucked in Denver. Guy drafted Tebow. You know what I mean? I mean, there's just not been a lot of guys come out of that organization where you went like this. Holy cow, those guys. This guy here, Brian Flores, looks like he's a really good coach. A lot of structure, a lot of organizational things. And to me, when I look at the Miami Dolphins and I see what the Eagles did in their first game, it reminded me of that a little bit with all the structure that I saw. You know, a lot of teaching, a lot of coaching guys' personalities into the right positions. And so to me, I look at him and I go like this. Okay, yeah, Andy Reid does have a better tree, but, you know, Matt Hatter, Andy Reid is really a product of Mike Holmgren, and Mike Holmgren is a product of Bill Walsh, so it kind of goes down that line a little bit. Holmgren was in the room with Walsh and all that, and those guys with Shanahan and all those guys were in that whole deal there. You know what I mean? I mean, that all goes back really, if you want to go down the tree, down to Walsh. You could maybe throw Dennis Green in that conversation too. Dennis Green's got a heck of a coaching tree. Tony Dungy's got an exceptional one. Dungy's part of the Dennis Green tree, though, of coaching. So it goes back a little bit there with Dennis because Dennis gave him an opportunity. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I thought the Steelers may have given Coach Dungy his opportunity to be a coach first, and then he got into Dennis Green. But Reed's got a really good he's got a really good coaching tree. He does. The only problem that you have with an Andy Reid coaching tree, because it comes out of that Holmgren thing, is that when you hire a coach like this Eric Bieniemy, right? When you hire Eric Bieniemy, and I know everybody's trying to, toot the fact that he needs to be an NFL head coach, and I know everyone's saying that, but he's not the true play caller. Andy Reid's the true play caller. I'm not saying that he's not involved in formations or anything like that, but Bieniemy's not the play caller. Andy Reid's the play caller. Okay? Always remember that. He is. So that's kind of why maybe he's slowed up a little bit on getting an opportunity. Everybody wants to try to duplicate what the Eagles did when they hired Andy Reid. And remember, Andy Reid wasn't the offensive coordinator in Green Bay. Andy Reid was the quarterback coach in Green Bay under Holmgren. And who got elevated? Joe Philbin got elevated, right? And when Joe Philbin got elevated, he got the head coaching job with the Miami Dolphins. He sucked. So that doesn't always work out, that formula. Okay? What up, Cody? Thanks for coming aboard. Doug wasn't either. He had Frank Reich. Here, to your point, Kevin, I mean, Andy Reid gave Doug Peterson an opportunity on the Kansas City coaching staff. If I'm not mistaken, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong on this because I'm just getting all caught up to speed with Philly history here and how the progressions have worked. But in my opinion, I think Doug Peterson got the Eagle job because he was the OC in KC. Am I right when I say that? I think that's how that went. He was the offensive coordinator in Kansas City. And Doug got the head coaching job in Philly. I think that's how that worked out. But remember something. He's not the play caller. Matt Hatter, thanks. He wasn't the play caller in Kansas City. Andy was. Nunez, that's exactly how I thought that worked. So remember something. What did Doug do immediately? he hired somebody like Nick Sirianni. Here's the difference in the hiring of what Frank did at Indy and what Doug did in Philly. Follow me here. Doug hired Frank after Frank got fired. Remember, Frank got fired in San Diego. He got fired as the offensive coordinator. The Spanos family let him go. Guess who was else on that coaching staff? Guess who else? Nick Sirianni was on that Charger staff. Frank saw in him that he was a developing play designer. There's a difference in between. Watch this. Doug Peterson's a play caller. Frank Wright is a play designer, and he's also an architect on how to use the plays he's designed. He's more of an architect on an offensive game plan. Doug gets a game plan that his coaches put together for him, and he goes through. He's not really calling play. This is why I think Wentz failed. His offensive coaches put a game plan together for him, which he was part of, but it wasn't the same. Frank designed personal, and they were like boutique or custom game plans for Wentz. That takes a lot more energy. Guys, that's what I saw with Sirianni. On Sunday, they were designed plays for only Jalen versus Atlanta, which means the playbook next week will be completely different because there'll have to be customized play designs for Jalen. Now, they'll take things that they did against Atlanta and they'll implement them and they'll keep adding. By the way, do you understand something? Guys, get something here. The playbook for Jalen Hurts has not been written yet. Do you understand that? They're putting plays now and figuring plays out on what he does best. By the way, defensive coaches are also putting that same book together on him. That's why you see sophomore slumps, because sometimes coaches don't upgrade the book. Defensive coordinators do. They catch up with you. They caught up with Wentz. Why? Why did they get caught up with Wentz? Because Doug stopped designing plays each and every single week for him. That's why everyone caught up. That's why he looked out of sync. That's why he was holding on to the ball more. The plays were not being designed correctly for him. There's certain coaches, like I said with Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is relying on his coaching staff to put an offensive game plan together for Trevor Lawrence. That means you're relying on your coaches, okay? You're relying on your coaches to put a game plan together that the kid can see and feel. Sirianni and guys like Frank, they know the player. They get to know the player. They get to be around the player. They see his skill set, things he does well, rolling right. How many times did you see him rolling right in that football game? Right? How many times did you see him really doing a nice job at moving around laterally in the pocket? That's all by design on what he was able to do. So you can tell Doug Peterson is not a coach that's going to sit here and go like this. I'll tell you what, when I watch Jalen play, when he gets closer to the red zone, we've got to have more RPOs. And we've got to develop more RPOs for him. That's the stuff Frank and Sirianni try to do. Reed gave us nagging. He's in a timeout. Bienemy, a victim of nagging. Okay? You always do this, though. You sit around and you see some of these guys. Like, how does that guy Gase get that job, right? That guy who was with the Jets. What's the guy's name that was with the Jets? How did he get those two jobs? He sucked in Miami, then he got the Jet job. Man, is he terrible. Kevin says, Belichick, as much of as he initiates me, as he infuriates me, he used to sit down with Brady and watch film together. That's exactly correct, Kevin. And you know when you're doing it? Yeah, Adam Gase. How did that guy get a job, man? Wait a minute. Let me take that back. How the hell did he get that job twice? No, Robert Saleh, we'll see what he does. I hope and pray that he does a really great job for the Jets. I do. I hope, because I hear great things. John Lynch loves the guy. John Lynch absolutely loves the guy. Okay? But here, see, you know what made that Belichick and Brady dynamic work so well? Look at what you had here in the room. You have the greatest defensive coordinator in the history of the National Football League sitting across the greatest quarterback in the history of the National Football League. And these guys are watching the game together. And Bill's doing this to him. This is what I would throw at you. What do you see? Tom goes, I'd go here, here, here. They played the game out before the game was played. And that's why when they got into those games for 60 minutes on Sunday, they knew every single nuance. Here, let me give you one of the things. There's two things that makes really a great coach. Bill Belichick told me this. Actually, Jimmy Johnson told me this because Bill told him. Do you know how, guys, follow me here. This is what really makes a great. I know, Paul, right? Peyton Manning did vouch for Gates too, yeah. Jimmy told me in one of the conversations that Bill had with Jimmy, this is how he attacks every week. And this is what really makes a great coach, in my opinion. You would think, and follow me, guys. So watch this with Sirianni as we move forward here. You would think Bill would go after and use his strengths versus another team's weakness, right? You would think that would be the case. Most coaches, I mean, fundamentally, I see a weaker guy, I'm going to go after him. Bill goes after the guy who has the least knowledge of the position that he's playing. A rookie, a first-year free agent. Most times, first-year free agents, they come into a situation, unless they're savants, they don't really know what's being asked of them until the next year. Okay? They really don't know. They learn as they get to go along when it comes to what's being asked of you. So he attacks that. Like this week, watch this. If I were going to attack the San Francisco 49ers and I was on Belichick's coaching staff, how I would attack San Francisco, I would attack San Francisco in the fact, do their running backs who now have been injured, do their running backs now know blocking schemes? Can they pick blitzes up? Anytime, this is what hampered, I thought, Lamar Jackson, and the fact that Lamar got sacked so many times on Monday night was because anytime you have a group of running backs that are just brought in, remember something on third down, those backs are brought in also to pick up blitzing linebackers or to bring on stunts. Guy runs a stunt at you, you're supposed to protect the quarterback. How many whiffs did we see on Monday because the running backs did not know their assignments? That is the fundamental issue on why running backs sometimes don't play, is because of exactly what I just said. It's a poorly designed play. One, you're attacking weakness, and that's what makes those great coaches. Designing custom plays for each and guys, that takes so much time. Mandel says Jalen is a tough cover. Came at him, get shook, catch him, get trucked. I mean, no. Hey, I would say this to you, Harvey. He really did a great job at evading any of the rushes. He did. He did a great job of it. I thought that he was calm in that pocket too. But again, you know what that comes from? That comes from sitting down with your coach and talking with your coach. All right. We're going to take a brief time out here, but I'm going to throw this at you too. I'll talk a little bit more about tonight's game, the importance of it, how it affects the Eagles. Jameis Winston also, I want to say something about him. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing with Jameis Winston in New Orleans. We'll do all that next. You keep it here on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. The glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fought. What's that? Huck and Fought. Go now to steersnacks.com.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
Appreciate you coming aboard the National Football Show. By the way, I want to thank again all my friends at Fox 29 in Philly. Newsroom likes watching Big Sills on the National Football Show. That's what Gary Cobb says. How you doing? By the way, Gary's going to join us every Monday now. We're going to try to talk him into it, man. We got him on Monday at 5:30. Talks some Eagle football. I love Gary Cobb. Gary Cobb, what an idol of mine when I was a kid. I think Gary has 2 national championship rings as well at Southern Cal. I think he played 13 years, National Football League. Played in Philly, played in Dallas, the Lions. Yeah, man. And he was a late draft choice too. And now he works as an analyst there on the Fox affiliate. I think he did some radio too. Either WIP. I think he did WIP, not the Fanatic. But yeah, no, so it's all good, man. So I love the fact that we got everybody watching. And by the way, some special guests are going to be stepping in. He's working on some special guys for us too. So I'm really looking forward to that too. Hey, what do you think Carson Wentz does versus Aaron Donald this week? Personally, I don't really think the Rams defense, outside of a couple ball players, are all that hot. And you got Jonathan Taylor. If that's me and I'm the Colts and I'm Wentz and I'm Frank Wright, you got to run that ball with Jonathan Taylor. You got to get that pass rush slowed down. Because if Aaron Donald does what Seattle did to that Colts offensive line, I'm going to say something to you. Carson Wentz is going to be a hurting puppy come Monday. Because Donald can rush the passer. And you better have your A game on versus that front because the Rams can get after you. And the way that Matthew Stafford looked in that first game against the sorry-ass Bears, you just got to run that rock right at him, man. You better – if I were the Colts, I would run right at Aaron Donald. That's what they used to do in Philly to Lawrence Taylor. Don't run away from LT. How many times did you guys see Lawrence Taylor dragging players down from behind? Don't drop back in a 7-step drop. He's going to kill Jaworski or Randall. You got to run right at that guy. You got to do screens at him. How many times you see that guy run you down? Same thing with Donald. You run at him. You wear him out. Put 2 bodies. Put 3 bodies on him. Get that guy's ass out of there. Bang on that guy. That's what, if I played against the Eagles and I saw Jalen Hurts running around the way he runs around, I'd put a hat on him every time. I'm going to soften this puppy up here, man. I'm going to put a hat on him every time I can. One guy's going to hold him up. I'm not talking about being cheap and taking guys out below the weight. I don't play like that. That was not my game. I'm not talking about being dirty here. But I am talking about being on that gray bar line. Put a hat on his ass, man. Soften that dude up a bit. See what he can do. You want to play like that? You want to run around like that? Well, I'm going to smash you every play. That's why everybody's a little concerned about what they're seeing here with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, man, he takes a beating in them games. He does, man. So if I were Wentz, run the ball, dude. That game plan's got to be about running the ball. You want that score low, too. You don't want the Rams to have the ball 70 plays. Rams have the ball 70 plays. Matthew Stafford will throw the football for 400 yards in that game. And personally, I think the Colts have a pretty good defense. They were one of the only teams in the league last year that had both their offense and defense in the top 10. I mean, Seattle's a tough open. I get it. But you need to play a little better, especially in that offensive line. I thought they struggled in the O-line against Pete Carroll's Seattle Seahawks front 7. I really did. I thought they struggled there. I'll get to the importance of this game tonight for the Eagles, Washington and Dallas here in a second. But real quick here on Jameis. I got to tell you, I heard this story last night. And guys, I'm going to show you something here about, Jalen Hurts probably has a little of this. Remember something here. Jalen Hurts had the position taken away from him. Guys, this is going to be, I actually like this topic. Jalen Hurts had his position taken away from him when he was in Alabama. They gave it to Tua Tagovailoa. He had to transfer to Oklahoma. Okay? Then he goes, he's not a first rounder. The Eagles trade up to a number 2 round guy, which second round is a great pick. Okay? What if this guy turns out to be the best Alabama quarterback that Saban's ever had? Better than Tua. Better than A.J. McCarron, for sure. These 3 guys that now are playing and starting are already better than him. But, by the way, A.J. does have one asset. His wife, girlfriend. I mean, really. It's like Brady. I don't know what's better, those 7 trophies or Giselle. I might take Giselle. How you doing? Right? I might take Giselle. But what if Jalen's playing with a chip on his shoulder? He was given the job after the number 1 Golden Boy failed in Philly. It's a perfect Philly story. That's why you guys like Foles so much. Look at Foles, man. This guy's a bucket guy. This guy comes to work with a lunch pail, a thermos, and a ham and cheese sandwich. And he's got coffee in there, And Foles is my kind of guy. Same kind of story here. Same kind of story here. Jalen Hurts was not given the opportunity to finish his dream at Alabama. That guy was a conference player of the year in the SEC. Do you know that? And you took that team away from that kid? Yeah, I know, smile. I think the coach's name was O'Brien at NC State. Went to Russell Wilson, and he goes, hey, we're giving the job to Mike Glennon. Who? And Mike Glennon is now an NFL vagabond. Yeah. Right? And so Jalen is going around with a lumberyard on his shoulder, like Brady is. Brady's the 199th guy drafted. He throws that up every year. You don't think that one of all the things that bugs Brady the most, him not being a first-round draft choice with all these other guys, that aggravates him. That aggravates him. That's one of the things. And he probably thought when he was at Michigan, that he was a first-round talent. And then when he got to the combines, he ran the slowest combine time in history for the position. Okay? Yeah. The Sopranos, starring South Philly Nick. And St. Jalen. No way, not already, dude. Too soon. That movie will not be produced by Big Sills yet. That will not be produced by Consolidated Garbage. That would have been my production company. What do you guys make? Hey, Big Sills Production Company, Consolidated Garbage. Make your checks out to Vito Anafermo. He's the CEO of the new company. That's AKA Sileo. Yeah, my TV name is Vito Anafermo. All checks payable. By the way, no refunds. You don't get any refunds, man. All checks payable. Consolidated Garbage. CEO Vito Anafermo. I'm not going to produce that movie yet for you there, Nunez. I'm not going to do it, man. Not happening. The importance of this game, though, real quick tonight. I want Washington to lose this game. I don't want Washington to start picking up steam. I'm telling you, there's a part of me that thinks that Washington may make a play for Jimmy Garoppolo. Hey, Vito, how you doing? I'm doing good, man. A little pasta fazool, right? Some manicotti. Hey, Nunez, isn't that one of the greatest sports names of all time? Vito Anafermo, I believe, was a former middleweight champion of the world, and I love that name. So they're like, Sileo, what would your AKA name be? Vito Anafermo. How you doing? Same here in these situations. You root for the less. Yeah, that Philly. This is about the NFL here, man. Hey, DeMarcus Lawrence going out now for the Cowboys. Watch this. Great. Cowboys are 0-1. They got beat up in that game against the Bucs. Obviously, they got to mash unit themselves a bit. You see Zeke is also crying. Hey, man, wasn't me. I was ready to run. They only gave me the ball 11 times. I always love it when those guys open their face. Bro, you're making 17-5. Well, if I'm making 17-5, I'm not barking about anything. You want to give me the ball? It's on you. You don't want to give me the ball? That's also on you. I'm ready to go. Oh, just as long as my direct deposit, right? As long as the direct deposit goes in every Tuesday, I'm good. Yeah, so, hey, this is who I have. I have actually Washington winning the game tonight, 27-10. I just can't see the Giants mustering up any kind of offense tonight. Who, Daniel Jones? Daniel Dimes Jones. That guy sucks as long as the night is long. That guy's terrible. Big Sills, a.k.a. Stevie Van Zandt. I like it. I actually like that. I like Vito Anafermo, though. Consolidated Garbage. Please, all checks payable and no refunds. Okay, there's just no refunds. None of that. You don't get refunds, man. Not around Consolidated Garbage. Not going to happen. All right. Hey, listen, have a great time watching some football tonight. We will preview that game, 49ers and Eagles, and the rest of the week 2 of the National Football League going into Sunday. Should be an incredible weekend. By the way, we'll talk some college football as well. There's some big games this weekend, too, in the college ranks. If you missed any of the show, please do me a favor. Go over to the JAKIB Media channel and like it, share it. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Till tomorrow, 4 to 6 Eastern time. We'll catch you on the flip side.